Hey, I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist Colleen Campbell, and it is time for Weather Impact Live. This is when we go over some local weather, and we also touch on some weather across the nation. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. Hey, did you like the cooler temperatures? We had a little bit of a cooler morning start this Thursday, December 4th, but you wouldn't know it with the conditions outside. It warmed up fairly fast this afternoon. And right now things are feeling great. A couple clouds out there, although they are high clouds, so it's not affecting our forecast too much. There's a live look around from several of our live cameras from downtown Tampa to Clearwater Beach. The marine conditions are pretty nice. They have a light chop out there for today, so great boating weather. And you want to get those boating plans in because this weekend we will have some showers on the way, and it's really a welcomed rain because we have been so dry. You guys know this by now, and I'm sure some of those lawns are getting a little crunchy. So let's check out those temperatures, how we're sitting and how we're feeling right now. We are in the lower 70s across our coastal locations. We do have some 80s hanging on strong across our interior, our inland locations. Really not a bad day at all, but it's hard to notice that nice cool air that we had this morning, right? Where is it? So all that sunshine warmed us up nicely. As we move into tonight, it's not going to be quite as cool. We actually had a weaker front that moved through the area yesterday, and that brought us a slight change in our temperatures overnight, as well as our dew points yesterday. But right now things are pretty much back up to normal. We have that temperature change showing you that we've increased the temperature. We've had a warm up, especially across areas north of I-4 within the past 24 hours. So which this map's basically telling you is 24 hours ago, we were 10 to 15 degrees cooler in places like Crystal River. Brooksville was about 10 degrees cooler. So that's that temperature change. We're sitting warmer this afternoon at 4:30. Not as much of a change in places like Sebring, Sarasota. Basically that front kind of just fizzled out, which is pretty typical for this time of the year. Now, looking at our low temperatures this morning, as I mentioned, we started off pretty cool, especially for places like Citrus County. Crystal River had an observed temperature at 46 degrees this morning, right around sunrise. Brooksville, you guys started off this morning at 48, and Zephyr Hills started off just below 50 at 49. We had some lower 50s out there for those morning marks in Bartow, as well as over there by MacDill Air Force Base, and Sarasota started off pretty mild, 57. That's actually closer to average for this time of the year for a morning low. And there's that dew point change. So the dew points are slightly warmer depending on your location. We have some areas that's really not that big of a difference. We had really a sticky feel as we kind of rolled past Thanksgiving and started this week. Now here we are towards the end of the week, and we had that slight little cool down in the dew points yesterday, and we still have some of that drier air that's up to the north, especially around the Panhandle. Tallahassee has a dew point at 46 right now, which is pretty refreshing, right? 42-degree dew point in Jacksonville for our friends over there on the First Coast. But you can see it gets a little bit more humid the further south you go, which is pretty typical. Key West, for example, way more humid than they are sitting in the Panhandle. They have actually our banners covering it up there, but they have a dew point of 72. Miami has a dew point of 66. All right, getting into satellite radar, as I said, that we have a couple high clouds in our area. If we expand this just a bit, let me zoom out, you'll see that we do have rain nearby. That is starting to move into the Panhandle area, especially for places southern Georgia. They are in that drought monitor, in which we're going to go over that in a bit too. But those are areas that really could use the rain, and our Panhandle's included in that as well. Now, it looks like the rain was a little bit heavier earlier today, which of course can cool down some of the air as well. But we still have some light residual showers that are working through the region, and the occasional moderate pour. You can see over there in Wright, Laura Hill, kind of southern Alabama, and just crossing over into Florida. That's where we have that steadier rain that's ongoing. And let's look at the surface map so we can really break down what we have going on here. So there's a series of fronts that will be working through our area. Again, yesterday we had a weaker front move through. It didn't really give us much rain. Some of you may have seen a brief pour, but most of us sat pretty dry, and that's been the trend, right? And really, most of Florida dry right now. Even there's that front that moved through yesterday. You can see it's south of the Keys at this time, stalled out, it's stationary. But we do have this area of low pressure that will be moving through, and again, really just bringing us rain as we enter into the weekend. You can see it bringing a better rain coverage across the toe of Louisiana at this time, and that's really that source for the rain that we're seeing in the Panhandle. Now, moving up to the north for anybody traveling, again, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Most of that rain is to the south of where they have that elongated area low pressure. And then we also have a little bit in the further north you go. Colder air, of course, has been taking over that area. And you can see kind of a messy mix there in Kentucky and Tennessee, far western Kentucky and Tennessee. Right on the state line, that blue would indicate a little bit of snow, and the pink would be more sleet and possibly some freezing rain if it's cold enough, which usually this time of the day it's hard to get freezing rain. But once the sun goes down, could have some of that as well. And then moving up to the north here, they have had some snow. And yeah, this is kind of carrying over. Remember Thanksgiving week when everybody was traveling? We had some weather that was not great for those that were heading out to the west and to the northwest. Now moving into the northwest, places like Montana seeing some snow as well. They have a little bit of a different system. That Canadian clipper there is not affecting us. That's often what you call those low pressure systems that swing across from Canada into our northernmost states in the U.S. And then also in the Pacific Northwest, they have that rain that's ongoing, which rains there pretty often, right? So, all right, let's regroup here and get into our planner for tonight, because tonight we have a cool event that's on the way. And thankfully, even though we have some rain to the north of us, closer to the Big Bend area, as well as the Panhandle here in Florida, here in Tampa Bay, we will be on the drier side. Now, that's not to say we can't get an isolated shower. That's certainly not out of the question, but most of our rain holding off until this weekend. For tonight, most of us will, in the Tampa Bay area and south of that, we'll see a few clouds like we're seeing right now, higher clouds out in the atmosphere, but that should not really mess up any plans if you have plans to look at the big supermoon tonight. So what is a supermoon? This is basically breaking down what makes a moon so super compared to a regular moon, right? So a supermoon is when it is in perigee. So basically the way that the moon and the earth orbiting around one another, how close is that moon in orbit? Well, during perigee phase, it is actually closest to earth. So it's going to appear bigger and look brighter because it's actually a little bit closer in orbit than, say, when it's in apogee. That's when it is actually further away from earth. So that's when it will look a little small, right? So for tonight, it should be pretty awesome to check out. Again, whenever we have a supermoon, it is, in this case, now these numbers sometimes vary depending on the perigee, but for tonight, it will appear 14% larger and 30% brighter compared to a regular old full moon. Now tonight's moon is known as the cold moon. It's the final supermoon of 2025. It's the third supermoon, I believe, that we've had this year. It's the closest full moon of the year. So even though it's a supermoon, it's a little bit closer than the other supermoons that we've had. And the moonrise tonight is just before 6 p.m. It's around 5 o'clock actually, and it will be partly to mostly cloudy. Now the best time to see a supermoon would be when it's closer to the horizon. That's when it's really going to appear pretty large and bright and big, and between the hour of 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. here on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time, that will be the best viewing opportunity. However, if you can't see it at that time, don't worry, it will still appear big and bright in the sky. It'll just be at a different angle, right? So yeah, it's definitely going to be a cool sight to check out for tonight. If you have any pictures, which I am not the best when it comes to capturing moon pictures on my phone, but we have a lot of viewers, which I believe one of the pictures I had, I think I shared it to my social media, was sent in from Jackie Sparrow. She's one of our viewers, and she always takes amazing photos. So if you ever have any pictures, please send them over to us. We would love to see them. You can actually send them to our social pages through Facebook, Instagram. You can email us. There's multiple ways that you can send in those pictures, and we'll get them even on the app. I believe that there's an avenue that you can take where you can send us photo and video. And it doesn't just have to be the moon. It could be when we have rain this weekend as well. We'd love to see your pictures. And we don't share them enough because, well, we should get them more often than we do. But I think people always forget that they can go ahead and send that in. So if you are a skilled photographer, maybe you're not, go ahead and try to get a picture of it and send it our way. All right, so we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some more local weather, including your weekend plans.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Familiarize yourself with where your water shutoff valve is located. If backflow prevention devices are installed, get them tested annually.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now, 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back. So getting more into our local weather here, we kind of just went over what's happening right now. What's new, what's next? Let's break it down. So starting off with a live look from Lakeland, because there is a big event going on there tonight. Now, good news, nice weather out that way. Not even those high clouds impacting this forecast. So that's great. Not only do you have the supermoon, but we have a parade, a Christmas parade going on. That is happening at 7 o'clock tonight. So nice viewing weather for that. Go ahead, maybe you can catch a glimpse of Santa. Maybe Rudolph will be there, who knows? You know, these celebrities are busy this time of the year. So the Lakeland Christmas Parade, those are the temperatures that you can expect. Right now, you see we're close to almost 5 p.m. now, but temperatures are in the upper 70s currently in downtown Lakeland. As we move into the 6 o'clock hour, right before that parade's about to start, temperatures will drop to the mid 70s. And then by the time we're in the middle of the parade, it will cool down. Once the sun sets, of course, we always cool down a little bit faster. And we'll go into the low 70s. And then when the parade's wrapping up, we'll be in the upper 60s. So should be a great event to check out. All right, it's getting back into our surface map here. So we have some weather on the way for this weekend, producing some rain. So again, this is the situation that you see right now. You see it spanning across several states here. We basically have a series of fronts that are moving through our area as we enter into this weekend. The main front that's really going to bring the weather closer to us will be on Sunday. Now, this typically happens this time of the year where we see weather close by, but does it actually get that far south where it's Tampa Bay or even south of that? When I worked in Southwest Florida, same thing would happen. These fronts would fizzle out before they actually made it over to us. Now, I will say some of those areas are really hurting for rain in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So it's great that some of those southern locations are getting the rain kind of right on the border of the states. Louisiana seeing most of the heavier rain at this time. That's where the center of this system is basically located, and that front will be moving throughout the weekends. So here's basically breaking down day by day how much rain we can expect. Now, all of this is not coming at once. This is basically the European model showing you the best rain coverage throughout the next couple of days. So again, overnight tonight into tomorrow, we've seen a few showers already across the Panhandle. Some of that may splash over into the Nature Coast, but it would be very, very light. We're talking just stray raindrops. Moving into Saturday, we have a warm front ahead of that main system that's coming on Sunday. So you will feel temperatures get more humid and warmer as well for the next couple of days. And then Saturday, the skies open up for some. Not everybody's going to see the rain. You can see that again, the system really starts to stall out before it really makes its way southward. So our southernmost counties, Hardee County, DeSoto County, even Highlands County, Sarasota, Manatee, you guys may not see a ton of rain on Saturday. It looks like Saturday will mainly be along and north of I-4. Now, the good news is this will actually be spanning across the state. So, if there's places that are sitting a little bit drier to the north of us, north central Florida, for example, they will also get the rain, which is awesome, closer to Orlando. And then Sunday, that's when we're really looking for the skies to open up. But again, most of it is concentrated across the Nature Coast. So we did put a weather impact alert for Sunday just because it's the weekend. We have the Bucks that are playing at 1 o'clock. We did push back the timing a little bit. Still some changes that are possible as far as the timing of the front. Sometimes these fronts, again, lose a little bit of their steam and slow down by the time they get to our area. So right now we have the weather impact alert that has been pushed to Sunday evening because the models are reflecting that most of the rain, the more significant rain, will hold off until later Sunday, which is great because we don't want anybody getting too wet at the Bucks game. And then Monday, I know it looks like a lot of rain coverage, but it's really only 30%, and I'll tell you why. Because most of that will be, well, first of all, you see the lighter greens in there, so that means that this is showing you that we will have more lighter showers, and the timing of that will mainly be Monday morning, and most of that will be drifting south at that time. So we didn't issue a weather impact alert yet for Monday. The only reason we would issue a weather impact alert, and again, these are something that we do in-house as your team at 10 Tampa Bay. It's kind of our branding, our logo. It's really just about how's it going to affect you. It's not necessarily about severe weather. It could be, but most of the time this is just, is this going to be an inconvenience to you? And if it is, when's the most important time? Are you taking your kids to school? Are you going to work? Is it the weekend? So that's also taken into consideration when we meet here as your team of meteorologists and issue these weather impact alerts. All right, so let's get into the forecast models, right? Because that really displays the best picture. So let's time it out. Here we go. We're going on a ride. Thursday, here we are. That system that's in the Panhandle, watch, fizzles out, see? This is what happens this time of the year. As we move into the overnight hours, when you look at it in the beginning, it looks like, oh yeah, we're going to get a lot of rain, but it's really not what's happening. It fizzles out, loses its power. Then we have another chance on Friday. Well, here we go, Friday. This is 2 o'clock. Going forward a little bit more. The northernmost part of the state, right on the state line, yeah, they will have a nice amount of rain over towards Jacksonville, our friends at the First Coast. Here we are, 11 p.m. Friday. What happens? Yeah, the drier air in place kind of eats away at these rain chances, and the fronts just don't sink south enough for this rain to be produced. So let's give it another opportunity, okay? So we went through the rest of today, fizzled out. Tomorrow, fizzled out. Now, that's not to say it will be completely dry, but when we talk about nice, significant rain, tonight and tomorrow, they're both out. So Saturday, all right, let's try this again. Saturday morning, very early, yeah, we may have the possibility of seeing a few showers. Looking a little bit more promising for some scattered light rain Saturday afternoon. I have this paused at 3 p.m. and you can see it's pretty much covering most of our area. We have that nice southwest wind, so getting some lift out there. You need the lift, you need the moisture. All right, so we got those elements going. I think it will be more scattered showers Saturday. Yeah, you could get an isolated downpour, but check this out. This is the main event, Sunday. This is when it looks a little bit more promising. This is Sunday, 11 a.m., starting off with some lighter rain, moving forward into, that jumped ahead on me, Sunday, 2, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So again, the front did slow down a little bit. A lot of this wants to hang out in the Gulf, has that nice source of that warm Gulf water. Moving into Sunday nights, I want to get it right to the sweet spot, 7, 8 o'clock. This is the European model. So it looks like this model in particular is saying that the front's going to slow down, and right after sunset, around 7, 8 o'clock, that's when it looks like we will have the best opportunities to see more of a significant, steady, moderate rain across our area. So that's some good news for anybody with Sunday plans, and that's why we decided to push back that weather impact alert to still cover Sunday, but we're saying Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So just be aware, have the umbrella handy, but it looks like hopefully most of the rain will hold off later in the day. It's really a win-win unless you have Sunday night plans. Well, can't help you there. But what you need to do is make sure you have plans in place. You know, if you have outdoor plans and you are anticipating rain, which we are Sunday, you know, I would have a backup plan if you don't want to get wet, have an umbrella around, a poncho if you're going to the Bucks game. And make sure you have the 10 Tampa Bay app, because anytime there is weather that we need to alert you about, which I don't anticipate any of this being severe, but we actually have a radar on there too, so you can track it along with us, which is really cool. All right, I think I went over on my break time. All right, so let's go into a quick little preview of the Saints versus the Bucks. This is the big game on Sunday. The weather impact alert overall is low for the start of the game. I think we will have better rain chances towards the end of the game, but I wouldn't go completely expecting it to be a 100% dry forecast. I would just keep in mind that yes, we could see some rain move our way. Bring a poncho with you, you know, and towards the end of the game, you may run into more of a better moderate pour for the ride home. So either way, it's not going to be 100% dry day. We'll have a couple clouds out there as well, but temperature is not too bad. We will be in the upper 70s. All right, how much are we expecting? Anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch, which will be amazing. We are really suffering with that drought. You can see the Panhandle really getting the most of this just outside of our area. They will have upwards of 2 inches to 2.5 inches. So that is that. Sam, do we have time for another break, or we just have a few minutes left? Okay, we're going to stay with me. So I'm sorry, I kind of talked through everything. All right, let's look at the drought monitor because it did come out today. And again, I've been harping on this drought. We now have a severe level of drought that is covering our area for the Gulf Coast. All the way from Sarasota up through Pasco County, Hernando County, kind of stops right there. Doesn't really necessarily go into Citrus County yet. However, if I expand this, it does pick back up for the areas north of Citrus County, and then moving into the Panhandle. Wow, they are extreme to exceptionally dry